Welcome to the Watchin It podcast. On today's show, we're talking about Andor, Season 2, Episode 1, 2, and 3. If you're your first time joining us, we like to cover shows that are airing and talk about what we've been watching. Sometimes we'll talk about video games. Sometimes we'll talk about books. Sometimes we'll talk about the oldies. Sometimes we talk about the newies. I'm your host, Robert, and with me is Donnell. So, they dropped 3 episodes of Andor.
Yeah. I like to do a rewatch, especially if a show hasn't been.
I wish
on
I'd done
while.
a rewatch because I was like sitting there with like 40 tabs open trying to remember everybody's name and how they fit into everything.
So I did a rewatch, but so I waited to the last minute, and then I was like, well, not last minute, but I was like, it was like about 5 days before it dropped, and I was like, okay. Well, no, before we record, because we're recording a couple days after it came out. But I planned everything out. I was like, yeah, all I got to do is if there's 3 episodes coming out and there's 12 episodes, if I watch 3 episodes a day, I'll knock it out. We're good to go. And it started out strong. I actually watched 4 episodes the first day, and then I didn't watch any more until yesterday. And so I've just been watching a lot of the last 2 days, which is not bad. It's not bad. Andor's a great show. I enjoyed it and all that stuff. But it was just like, yeah, we could have paced this. Gotta say, immediately, at least Disney Plus, there is a vast upgrade between Andor Season 1 and Andor Season 2, because when you start up Andor Season 1, you get the skip the recap button.
There we go.
You click that, and then it says skip the intro.
Okay.
And when you click the skip the intro, it skips the Lucasfilms intro.
I hate that.
But not the Andor intro. So it still have to watch a little
interesting
thing. Where Season 2, they realized, and I was like, they figured this out eventually in Season 1. No, all the Season 1 episodes, if you hit skip the intro, you still have to then hit fast forward to get past it.
Oh, man,
bring it
I
up
can't
Andor.
think what it is.
It was just so annoying. But Season 2, when you hit skip the intro, it skips both the Lucas logo and the Andor logo and get you right into the show. I'm like, thank you.
There was something I rewatched recently. I want to say it was like The Diplomat or something that like starts out with a recap. Yeah. And if you click skip it, it skips the cold open and past the credits, and I'm like, no.
That's not what we're looking for.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 episodes dropped.
Yep,
they are called 1 Year Later.
1 year later, pretty straightforward.
Sagrona Teema and Harvest. Okay. So I thought that like the whole thing with doing 3 episode drops was like they were all supposed to have like a singular theme.
Yeah, that's what
whatnot.
That's what I heard before, but yeah,
these were all over the place, jumping around like crazy.
Yep.
Between essentially 4 main storylines.
Yes.
That were not interconnected at all until the very end. They splinter, but not substantively.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they meet. 2 of them meet up
I was about
for
to say,
half a second at the end of the 3rd episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we should do is just talk about the 4 stories.
Yep.
Independently of the 3 episodes. So if you've only watched 1 episode, you're going to get some spoilers.
Yeah.
You need to watch all 3 episodes before you listen to us talk about it if you care about spoilers and things like that. So we discussed before this how we're going to do it. We're going to start with Cassian and the ship.
Yep.
Starts out episode 1, 1 year later. Last season he had just escaped from the prison, right? And that's where we kind of ended things.
Got away from the prison. He had returned to I can't remember what the planet's called. His home planet. Yeah, Phoenix. And like got everybody rallied up, but pretty much that was it. Like he had basically Andor Season 1 was how did Cassian become a rebel, essentially. Yeah. And that's where it ends. And then when we jump into this 1 year later, like it looks like things are in full swing.
He's full rebel. He's he's turning assets.
I mean, that's one thing about saying Andor for me is probably the best Star Wars property that's been made since the original trilogy.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, why is it? It's because I was like, it's so much. Like I was like I was watching the first season and even this season, like you got heists, you got political intrigue going on, you got all this like. There's a lot which I know me and you are both Sorkin fans and like the like of a good talk show, not talk show, but like where there's a lot of talking and stuff. Yeah. That's what there's so much is there action in Andor? Yes, but there's also just a lot of times where you're just like, this guy's doing something shady. I see where this is going.
Yeah. And I like that, but I don't know. I feel like these 3 episodes failed.
This 3 episodes.
I think the writers misunderstood what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we want a slower paced, less lightsaber focused,
Yes.
force focused Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But what we liked about season 1 was not this,
Yeah.
what we get in season 2.
So far.
What I want is show me the mechanizations of fascism
Mm-hmm.
in a galaxy of 10,000 star systems.
Yep.
And how that works, and the giant seas of cubicles that of the machine,
Mm-hmm.
and the slavery and all that, and then them trying to figure out inside of that strict mechanism, how do we fight off a rebellion?
Yeah.
And show me that rebellion forming.
Yep.
And how that's going. I don't need a lot of what we got in these 3 episodes.
Yes, I'll agree with that also, because I do have
Yep.
not so much with the Cassian storyline, but with
I got problems with the Cassian
okay.
storyline a lot.
Okay, all right.
Not the main overall part of it,
Yeah.
but the meat and potatoes in these particular episodes is a lot. So let's start with it. So
Yep.
starts out, he is on some sort of testing base.
Yep. For like TIE fighters.
Yep.
Already has, as you talked about, a turned asset, someone who's like a technician there.
Yep.
Who's like, I mean, I'm a little rusty. This looks, and I'm going by the pacing of, because Andor's before the original trilogy, it would make sense that this would be a new developed thing. It looks just like a TIE interceptor.
But they call it a transport or something. But it's got bombs on it.
Yeah, it does.
So
have
they
bombs.
alluded to this in the first season, right? That was kind of like a reveal that they were working on this thing.
Yeah.
And that was like a big deal. This is him. He's gotten in as a test pilot,
Mm-hmm.
like, or through the back door, or maybe not. Maybe he's a real. I don't know. We don't know why he's here, how he got here, exactly. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But he's there. Got his tech asset. First, I love, like, immediately they start out with like the visuals that make Andor so great.
Yeah.
Of just like the scale of it and the practical design. Like, this is clearly they built this thing.
Yeah.
Life size.
Yeah.
1-to-1 ratio, instead of it being like CGI or painted on or something like that. And it's just like, it feels so real.
Yeah.
And awesome. He has some brief conversation with his technician who's kind of having cold feet and scared and all this stuff. Not important. Then he tries to steal the ship.
Yep. Realizes he can't exactly, or doesn't know exactly how to fly it as he smashes around the hangar. I do like, the thing is, so he smashes around, alerting the stormtroopers who come in. I always do like when you see like stormtroopers and stuff. This happens all the other friends where they're firing their little blasters at like huge spaceships. I'm like, what is this? What are you trying to do, bud? Like, as we've seen many times before, you cannot take down almost any of the spaceships in Star Wars with a blaster or anything.
Yeah. Well, you got to try. You
I
got
guess.
to be able to put on your report
Yeah.
that you did something. But this is like a major project.
Mm-hmm.
This is should be one of the most secure facilities.
Yeah.
There should be at least two stormtroopers stationed
In there.
inside that holding room
Yeah.
at all
In
times.
the hangar, yep.
And if the droid gets shot, that should
Instant
activate
red flag goes off.
a dead droid
Alert.
failsafe.
Yep.
Should just like, if that droid is not sending a ping signal at
Mhm.
all times, if that ping stops, alarm sound.
Yep.
You can just deal with that if there's a false positive.
Yep, exactly. Like, if the droid just malfunctioned or something went wrong, then it's like, cool. We all
Motivator
check it
explodes,
out,
whatever.
and
yeah.
then we're back to playing whatever
Yeah.
poker in the lounge. But you don't want the opposite of droid fails, and it's like, oh, it's because someone's stealing the top secret ship that is supposed to be under lock and key and is one of our most vital assets that we've been working on for who knows how long.
I did think this was funny. Him just slamming around into walls and backing up into things and whatnot. I also like that it shows like how sturdy a TIE fighter is.
Yeah.
It's not just a glass cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're watching the movies and how often, that's they're there to be cannon fodder, obviously. But TIE fighters just blown out of the sky left and right. And
I also like he bashes it everywhere and then he just shuts down. He's like, I'll just turn it off and back on again. Good reboot.
So looking at it, I think I wrote this down. I can't remember my notes. But looking, so it's a TIE Avenger actually.
Oh,
is what
okay.
It's called. Yeah.
I thought it was TIE Advanced X1 or something. No, that's the Vader fighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is just a whole new fighter.
Yep.
We don't know if we really have a name for it, do we? Or I don't. Maybe they've gotten it on the wiki now.
Yeah, I was about to say on the
Look,
wiki.
it's Star Wars. There'll be a dozen books on this thing within a year.
Yeah.
About this particular and the development and all the people that developed it and the droid that gets the tool droid that got shot. It's such an expansive universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that droid that got shot will have like a 3-book series going through everything that led up to that moment.
Yeah. So he takes it off. He speeds off. He goes to his rendezvous point.
Yep.
At this like forest world.
Yep. Middle nowhere forest world.
Lands.
Yep.
Immediately gets like raided by this
Ambushed.
brigade.
Yeah.
The Maya Pei brigade.
Yep.
Which I guess he knows who Maya Pei is.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was supposed to meet him there, part of his rebel team. I don't know who though.
No. They said a name, but I didn't write it down.
It doesn't matter. Anyway,
like I
they're
said, it's probably
dead.
just, yep.
The ship is destroyed. This brigade has taken over
not the
area.
ship he stole, but
yeah. The ship.
Just want to be clear on
the
which
ship that was
destroyed.
supposed to. He was supposed to hand the ship off to this person.
Yep.
And then take the ship they left behind to go his other way.
Yeah.
Right. He just passed the baton.
Mm-hmm.
All good. Then we spend a significant portion of 3 episodes.
Yep.
With a mini civil war.
Yeah.
Between the brigade.
Between the brigade, like the two warring factions in a sense.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
These people are stupid.
And it has, and I think overall.
I don't want them to show back up.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it would be important that we got any of this.
I don't think they're going to show back up. I don't see it how they would.
Yeah. They're going to die on that planet.
Yeah.
No, it should have just been he showed up.
Mm-hmm.
She was dead. The ship, because of the animals or something.
Yeah.
The ship was busted. Then he's just got to figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in the ship and he leaves, trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
The only thing that I get purpose it might serve is it delays him.
Yeah.
So that way other things happening.
Other things, yeah.
But
so
there's no reason those things couldn't have happened.
Yeah.
In a different time stamp.
Just let it play out.
Yeah. Just completely stupid. And eventually the Civil War goes crazy. The animals attack. He uses the moment to break free.
Yep.
And
they're playing this weird version of
rock paper
scissors to decide things, which also felt a little.
It's stupid.
A little hokey. Like I'm like, what? Really? This is like they call out for like what essentially sounds like a duel, and they're like, and I got my second and all that, and if you know anything like medieval duels, you had your second and all that stuff. So I thought this was like going to be some fight. And then all of a sudden they're playing this weird version of rock, paper, scissors and screeching like animals, which covers him getting his gun and shooting his chain free. It's just, I was just like, this is a little.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
It was just stupid.
It's really stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it being fun in another show.
Yeah.
But
it's
a waste of time here.
Yeah.
It's too broad Star Wars, like, and not enough Andor Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too comical.
So far, I will say, like I said, we're only 3 episodes in. I'm really hoping, this isn't, going to be the whole thing. I will say that this season so far feels more broad Star Wars than Andor Star Wars. One thing I was while watching is like Andor season 1. One thing that they circumvented is if you watch almost any Star Wars property, the protagonist is going to have a little droid buddy.
He did have a little droid buddy.
He did, but he didn't tag along with. Like he was there, and like Andor was off doing his stuff, and we didn't see too much of him. Where in this season, and I'm not putting down, I think it's like BMO or whatever or something. However they say they call him B, but in this season, like he definitely has a much elevated role. I'm like, we're slipping back into Star Wars
them
trope.
Toys, man.
Gotta have our little droid buddies everywhere, and I was just like, this is just how it is. I mean, I guess what's his face doesn't have a droid buddy, but he has Grugo, so that's close enough. Yeah. The Mandalorian, yeah.
Oh, we'll be getting that movie soon.
Yeah.
Mandalorian and Grogu. That'll be. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm really hoping that he's right now doing what is it called? I can't remember.
Fantastic Four.
No. Who I want to talk about is he's doing a stage play. Bill Burr.
Oh, okay.
But I hope Bill Burr's character shows back up.
Oh, there we go.
I liked him in that.
Anyway, we don't pick up with Cassian.
Yeah.
Until the end of
the
episode
the farm
3.
story.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that.
All right, let's talk about another bad storyline happening.
Yes. This is
the wedding.
The one I probably was most annoyed by.
Yeah. So like I said, I like the machinations of the fascist empire and the rising of the rebels. I do not care about the weird family rituals
Yeah.
of weddings.
Of weddings for
Of
this
Mon
particular.
Mothma.
Yeah. So interestingly, Mon Mothma, the lady playing her, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I guess it's just like your what is it? I wouldn't say hindsight, but just your like. I don't know. Well, basically, the way lady played her, if you look up Mon Mothma, the character and stuff on the Star Wars wiki, it says predominantly played by the actress who's currently playing her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's an injustice. I was like, the woman who played her, the originally played her, she should get the credit. And then I looked up the credits. I was like, she played her in Return of the Jedi. That's it. The original Mon Mothma. And this lady has played her in Rogue One.
Yeah.
In Han Solo and a few other things. Where I'm like, now that I look at it, it's like, yeah, no, this lady has done more for the role, not putting down the original lady, but still, like, this lady has done more for the role than the original lady ever did. But just me, and because I was introduced to her in Return of the Jedi, there's still a part of me that's like, she's not the real Mon Mothma. Yeah. But no, she does a great, fine job playing her.
Yeah. We do get some substantive plot development during the wedding scenes.
And we do get to see that there are some serious divides in the rebellion and even amongst the trust of each other. Like the different
Well,
parts.
I just see, it's really just Tay.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got Luthen there, and you got Mon Mothma, you got some other players, and then you got Tay.
Yeah.
You got really it's those three of the big ones. And Tay has his wife has left him. He's a drunkard.
Yep.
He's kind of done all these favors, and now he's like wants to extort money.
Exactly. He's calling
out of the team. Luthen immediate was like, the second we pay this guy, he's just gonna want more.
Yep.
Or it's never gonna end.
Yep.
It's just not a good idea. He's turned on us. We got to kill him. And that seems to be what Luthen's going to do.
Yep.
In the next 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe that won't happen until the final 3. Wait, is 4 sets of 3?
Yeah, 4 sets of 3.
Okay. But at some point, we're going to get that storyline of them taking out Tay. Or maybe he's going to turn on him. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But again, don't need 3 episodes and like a whole hour
the
of
framework
this
to
wedding.
tell this story and seeing the kind of stuff. Because another thing, I really liked her in the first season, and I feel like this season already they've elevated her to a much more prominent role. Is Luthen's assistant, Kayla?
Mm-hmm.
I liked her in the first season, and we're seeing how much she honestly has sway. And she's not. That's the obviously. She portrayed as Luthen's assistant, but she's obviously she's not, like you said, part of the big 3. She has a lot more authority, I'd say, in the rebellion than I originally thought. And she
she's not just a flunky. She's a member of the inner circle.
Gets
she's right hand.
Yeah, because I'm about to say she actually gets into it a little bit with Luthen.
Yeah.
And kind of speaks her mind to him, which I'm like, this is someone that is his equal in a sense, maybe not in authority in the ranking, but equal, and he respects her at this level. And I did like that.
She eventually is a theme throughout the episodes is everybody's trying to be like, where's Cassian? He's supposed to be back. He's disappeared.
Mm-hmm. No one can contact him.
Yeah, and all that stuff, and they're trying. So she eventually goes back to Coruscant to try and contact her with her tech.
Yeah,
can't get through. Keeps trying. Blah 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 blah. We move on.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Deedra.
No, last thing about the wedding is it's one of those things of because this is a prequel series, nothing's going to happen. Or maybe you do know stuff if you're talking about Cassian. But the lady who plays Mon Mothma, so this wedding is definitely not something she wants. Her daughter's being married to somebody she doesn't want to be married to. All this stuff. The party, like I said, there's also a lot of issues going on with the rebellion, and she's dealing with them at the party and stuff. And then they get to the celebration at the end of the wedding. There's music playing, and I'm like, Mon Mothma. She gets messed up.
Well, so my interpretation is when she took that shot.
Yeah.
That was drugs. That wasn't just alcohol.
Something.
She took some party drugs.
Because
she'd be dancing.
She's dancing and just letting loose. And I'm like, if this was anything else, I think, this is going to lead
you
up
are
to
a
her.
senator, ma'am.
Well, yeah. I was like, and also I was like, this is going to lead up to her. She's going to get too drunk and then somebody's going to take her out or something. I would be like, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm like, well, no, we know she's not because she has a very prominent role to play in Return of the Jedi, so she can't. But I guess
I really wish that it had amounted to something. You could have gone through this whole wedding thing, and if the daughter had run away, which Mon Mothma gave her the option to do, that would have blown up so much stuff, because the whole reason that they're getting married is so that way the banker guy who they're using to funnel funds to the rebellion.
The funds that they stole in the
He
original
wanted
heist.
his son to marry her daughter, so that way he could get position.
Yep.
And if that had blown up,
if that had blown up, like that would have been something.
Yeah, that would have been a whole season of amazing Andor of tradecraft and dealing with the mechanizations of banking and like all sorts of stuff. You could have had fun with that,
but they just get married.
Nope, just a lot of walks up mountains and discussions of how the party's gonna go and their rituals, and it wasn't very good. Deedra,
yep.
Pick up with Deedra. Getting at a meeting with Krennic from Rogue One.
Yep.
Excellent to see him come into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got to say, the first thing he says, I mean, before we even see his face, he's like, "You are not here. This is a secret meeting. You will not take notes. This will not go on your calendars." I'm like,
if you do not see someone in here that you don't talk. I forget exactly how he says it, but
like it's like a
if
closed circle.
If you don't see it, or basically everybody you see in here are the only ones you know about this. So
I'm like, sorry, you're already. This is the conversation you have before anybody gets there.
Before anybody's in this room.
These people, high level people.
Yep.
There were flight plans.
Mm-hmm.
It's already on calendars.
Yep. Hotel rooms being booked, on
it
planets,
is. Yeah, this is everybody, all these people.
Like, these people
went to
have
the same place. Yeah.
And this staff has been coordinating this for them for however long.
Absolutely,
the commander's leaving for for a week to go to some conference. Okay, yeah.
The rebellion already knows this. They may not know the substance of the meeting.
Yeah. But they know that all the big wigs got together.
That's right. Because they just like, everybody's going on a retreat to this one place. I mean, what would have happened is they would have found out about that weeks in advance, because you can't just schedule this meeting for the next day with these people at this level.
Not with
You got to get it on their calendar.
Yeah.
It has to be on their calendar or it's not happening.
Yep.
So you got to plan that like a month in advance at least. Right?
Coordinating everything, yeah,
unless the Emperor just walks in and says, "You're going to this meeting in 12 hours."
Yeah,
so
that's the one way it could have. But even that's going to stand out because the Emperor's showing up at multiple locations to meet with high-level officials to dictate something to him. Like, that's going to be on the wire.
The rebellion would have someone on the inside and have this bugged.
Yeah,
like it would. Yeah, this would not be a secret meeting. But at this meeting, Deedra is there. They are talking about there's some sort of mineral that they need from the Gormans, which is a people, not a planet. I don't know what planet. Is it the Gorman planet?
I think it's they're both. Because from what I've noticed,
I mean, that makes sense
talk
to
about
me.
The Gormans, it seems to refer to both the planet and the people. So.
Yeah, and in order to get that, they're gonna have to just like take over and just strip mine this planet so bad that it's going to collapse the planet.
Yes.
Like it's going to destroy the planet itself. So they're either going to kill everybody or relocate them. It's going to be a big deal.
Yes.
This is a whole season, by the way, that I could watch of them, the fascist empire regime taking over the
dominating the planet. And
they break up into work groups of like, how do we do it? What's the best way to go about it? Whatever. Deedra's just off against, looking out alone, not saying anything. Krennic walks up to her and is like, I've been reading about you. You got a plan.
Yep.
Tell me the plan. And she's just like, you got to get her insurgency. A lot of Russian type action. It's like, you just got to build from the ground up.
Yep.
An internal strife.
Yep.
And let them
break them apart, essentially.
Yeah, you don't destroy them from the outside.
Yeah,
you let them destroy themselves from the inside.
Take over. Which I mean, I will say we got this in the first season with her, but I do like her character and her.
She's amazing.
Her guile and ruthlessness.
Oh yeah. When she's talking to the mom.
While I'm not a thing. Like I said, while it's not like a main focal point for me, I will say that the scene with her and Cyril and the mom at dinner was something for me, just because
so I mean the meeting breaks, they get back to Coruscant. She's got like a mentor / lackey kind of guy. It's a weird dynamic that she's got with this older guy.
I mean,
I guess it was like her old commander.
In season 1, he basically, so it's, and I like the way it's done actually, and this is part of what like the whole backstab. So he's in charge of her and like all of the commanders in a certain region. And the stuff that she is doing.
They're all security people. Right?
And the stuff that she is doing is seen by everybody else as, you know, like you're overstepping your bounds, and she's new and stuff. But what I like about their relationship is he supports her, but not outright, and he makes her find ways to win her. Like he supports her, and when she does the right move, he elevates her. But he also does not give her basically sees that butting heads with one of the other commanders in the first season about wanting to go into his region and stuff. And he keeps bringing it up, being like, she's overstepping. She's trying to take my jurisdiction. And he keeps basically like not siding with either one of them, but like pushing it out, going like, and eventually she works a way where she presents the evidence that he's been slipping on his security and stuff. And like in that meeting, like basically he's the one who calls her out, but she wins the argument. And so then it shows later on when they're walking down the hall, he's like, well played. And he's just like, yeah, they have he supports her, but he's not hand holding her. Like he sees what she can do, but he's like, you still have to figure this out, and I'm not going to back you until you give me the evidence to back you. And so their relationship is actually pretty good.
I like when he's like, you look, your failure to find Cassian and all this stuff. Just walk away. Take the Gorman thing. It's going to be a good one. The other thing I'll say about the meeting that they have is I really, really loved the marketing and propaganda guys.
Yes.
They were so funny. They're just like so enthusiastic in that marketing tone of like, we got in there and we killed so many people and we caused so many problems. That was us. Good job, bro. High five. Like, so ridiculous.
I mean, it's just, but it's also great because like it shows, you watch Star Wars and this whole war and rebellion and stuff from all the other movies and stuff, and it's just all the action pieces. Like, no, these people existed in the background. Like,
that's right.
I've always liked even though it's like stuff punny or parody stuff they've done, where it just be like life on the Death Star. Where it's just like, the guy who's like, there's a robot chicken where they're complaining about because it comes up in the actual movie, but how like the cannon where for whatever reason there's a walkway right next to the main beam cannon but there's no guardrail, and there's this one parody where the guy's like, you would think and all the money we spend in this place they could get us a rail or something. And and then the guy's like, well, they said they don't want us leaning, they don't want us leaning all the time. He's like, but it's a safety thing. And it's like, it's just funny, like, I like and Andor gives us some of that, even though not comedically, but still just the normal day-to-day of living in the Empire and stuff. And just so you do have your marketing guys who are putting spin on everything, but hey.
I mean, that those guys, they answer to somebody who answers to somebody who answers to somebody that answers to the Emperor. And there's a round table with the Emperor at some point where it's all the heads of everything, and that guy's in there, and I need that meeting.
The head of marketing,
where the head of marketing and propaganda for the Empire is like, all right.
Emperor Palpatine, I got something to show you. Let me bring up the power. You're gonna really like this. You're really gonna like this. Let me show you.
We've been workshopping it.
The new TIE Avenger,
really
and also doing over things that no one can like. Now I really want you to look at the flare accent lines we have on the wings here. I mean, that's just a very unique touch. And just the Emperor's like, does it shoot bombs?
Like we're gonna be selling Death Star soccer balls.
Okay. Every kid's gonna want one.
Just don't even bring in an actor. Just bring in the head of toy marketing for Disney. That Star Wars division, and just bring him in. To
have him trying to sell like a how the Empire has like killer droids or whatever, but have them trying to sell one of those for like as a kid's toy, but like the new blah blah model.
Speaking of toys, to bridge storylines, I want my marionette ATST. That was
I saw that kid playing with it. I was like, there we go.
That's so funny. I
mean, that's the marketing dude right there. Probably spun that.
But to continue with Deedra, we get a brief scene with Cyril. And I don't remember them. I did not go rewatch the first season. How did they get together?
So
are they a couple?
Essentially, what happens, and I call this has to be the most boring relationship.
This is a bad pairing.
Is they're both so in the first season, Cyril's trying to find Cassian. And then Deedra's trying to find it. And when she first meets up with Cyril, she's very disappointed because he doesn't have more information for her. And basically, she sets him down. But he is persistent, and also, just like her, they both are very by the books to an extent. And so it's like over time, both of them pursuing Cassian and working together and realizing that they are both like people with a rod so far up their ass that they both come together over, like they both kind of bond over the fact like they're the only two people, which other than her mentor, but even her mentor isn't like exactly like him, but like the only two people who kind of see the world in this straight like no, right is right, wrong is wrong. We have a rule, and we can't go outside the bounds and sort of stuff. And so that's what kind of brings them together is. But having this common goal of finding Cassian, and then also realizing like they are like probably the only two people who view the world like they do.
But yeah, Cyril in the cube world at the Ministry of Standards and stuff, and then he's just like, I like the line where he's just like, "There's a future here." He's talking about how he got out of the cube and became, like a person of importance, and some, even though he's not that important. But
bureaucratical to a point.
Something about "there's a future here" just sounded so Severance-y.
Or
it was just like, this is just you're stuck in the cube. But there's a life to be had.
Oh, and Cyril's definitely going to work his way up the chain. I mean, that's his
I didn't really understand if there's really any strong importance other than just character building of the dinner with Deedra and Cyril and Cyril's mom.
I don't think so. I think it was just Cyril, Cyril getting his groove back moment. Because I mean, basically, Cyril and his mom see over babies him and also looks down on him when he doesn't
She's very tiger mom. Just very like, oh, you could, you'd great that you made a A, but it should have been an A+.
Yeah, exactly. Overbearing. And I mean, basically the main point is just that Deedra actually steps up for Cyril. But I do also, while watching this, I was like, you get to see Cyril and Deedra getting ready, and they're both like so like uptight. I'm like, I feel like
I like where she's like, should I wear the white or the black today?
and her forced smile she does in the mirror while she's trying to put it on. It's like, I don't know how to smile. And then like Deedra, when his mom can say, I was like, I would not, like, you hear all the phrase all the time, I'd like to be a fly in the wall, and she's like, this would be the most I would not like to be a fly in the wall. We are, but like these three people, this would be the most insufferable dinner ever.
I like how Cyril's just like, he's making sure the fork's in the right orientation.
He walks past the table and he like literally like stops and like grimaces, almost like it caused him pain because the fork is slightly askew.
Either of these people would have put that fork there that way to begin with.
But I was like, I do
But I do love this, like the mom's being kind of poking and prodding on him
to the point that Cyril like gets up and leaves.
Just goes lay down on the bed.
I do like when they cut to him.
I'm like, I felt that.
He's just collapsed on the bed.
But no, I love Deedra. She just like, you know what? Here's the rules.
Well, I like. She's like, the mom's like, you'll make him a stronger man. She's like, I have a different plan. And then she's like, actually, I say plan, but that makes it sound like it's optional. She's like,
what is her plan?
I mean, basically, she's just telling the mom, like, if you want to be involved in his life, you are going to adhere to these rules and stuff, and like lays it all out. But
I feel like her plan isn't to toughen him up, then what's her plan? I feel
like she got herself her supreme lackey at the end of the day, someone who views everything just like her, but also will never Cyril will never seek to overtake her or be like, oh, I want the power and stuff.
I would say, Deedra and Cyril and all this, even though I don't know if we really needed the dinner thing other than character building, it's definitely the storyline I like most out of these 3 episodes. For sure. I mean, it's all 3 episodes of setting the groundwork for what the next 9 are going to be.
Yep.
All right. Anything else to say about Deedra, Cyril, mom, anything like that?
I think we covered it. That's it. Let's get to the farm. Which is interesting.
Another waste of time, other than the fact that it brings in all the rest of the rebellion characters.
Yep. We get Bix and Brasso, and we get the robot, so we can have more scenes with him.
So basically, they're on a farming planet.
Yep.
On the outer rim. That planet is called. I had it. I've got too many notes across too many pages.
I'm about to say it's 3 episodes. Of notes.
Mina Ray.
Yep, Mina Ray.
And they are living in a camper, essentially, on this farm planet that apparently only farms wheat.
Yep.
It's just,
that's
thousands of square miles of
that's
wheat
one
farm.
thing. I was about to say that's one thing that I think is funny with the Star Wars universe. I mean, but I guess if you look at our actual universe, like Earth is an anomaly. Most planets are basically like one thing all over, where Earth has, we have different climates, all this stuff. And so, because I always thought it was weird, like a lot of the Star Wars planets are literally like, oh, like you go to Andor, it's a forest planet. The whole planet is the same, covered in forest. You go to, Tatooine, it's a desert planet. The whole planet is a desert. So, like, that's kind of just how the Star Wars universe is. And like I said, I was just about to say, it's kind of funny because stuff, but like that's comparing it to Earth. But then when, like I said, big pictures, like, no, most of the planets in the universe are all one thing. Like,
well,
Earth
especially
is
when you have the
nominal.
kind of like the force and people and tech and
Yeah.
stuff that you can just. I mean, look, we just turned. Nebraska was not always a flat sheet of corn.
No.
We turned
True.
it into that.
We did, yes.
Yeah.
But
Like,
yeah.
Oh, it is
flat
so flat.
sheet of
It is.
corn.
It is. That's what it is. It is a flat sheet of
that's
corn.
the description.
Okay, and the shape of a rectangle.
Yes.
That
a
is
perfect
Nebraska.
rectangle of corn.
I've been there. It is just flat, and it is very, very, very windy. But anyway, a bad idea to do monoculture and stuff like that because all you need is one fungus to take out everything. But anyway, they're undocumented farmers.
Yep.
And
Playing a little bit into like real world stuff here.
Unexpectedly, there is an Imperial inspection fleet coming that hasn't been around for like a decade or something. It's a very big surprise, and they thought this was a safe
caught
space.
Off guard.
They're also trying to figure out what happened to Cassian.
But they can't communicate with anybody because the Empire basically locks down all communication. Because that's like we said, there's very little intersection, but they do bring up during the wedding stuff with Kayla. Like, C mentions like, well, we can't get a hold of Bix and them either. Like, it's not just Cassian.
I mean, this is very much like in the Rebel world, communication blackout when there's a mission going on. Nobody talks to nobody.
Yeah.
Once it's done, then we can get back on the horn, and do updates and stuff like that. I didn't really care about any of this.
No, I mean, it's...
Except that it forced me to remember who all these people are.
Yeah, it just shows you the struggles they are going through now that, they've been ousted from their planet. They're well, they're not like known fugitives, like, because obviously the Imperial troopers who show up don't recognize them off the bat or anything. Still, they just know like they're not safe to be anywhere really. Like that's why they're on this this planet of wheat that they thought nobody would be coming to. It was like, they don't really have a place they can like safely be. But yeah, overall, not much. Bix catches the eye of one of the Imperial officers.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I thought he was a commander at first, but then I guess he was a lieutenant.
Yeah, lieutenant.
Yeah.
William almost gets. I was so mad, but because not that I'm a big fan of either one, but I'm definitely more a fan of Brasso than William. And so William is flirting with one of the girls there, which her family doesn't like that. But William goes. They realize they got to leave because like they can't stick around.
Yeah.
They're undocumented. And William goes to say goodbye to his girlfriend. And the Empire shows up at the farm. And William flees, but then Brasso goes to save him, and he gets caught. I'm like, dude, if William survives and Brasso dies, I'm gonna be pissed. Like at first, I thought that might like he was gonna sacrifice himself, and I was like, no, swap it. William gets caught, Brasso, but Brasso does get away, when Cassian shows up. But anyways, before that, like I said,
the whole reason Brasso dies is because William wants to.
Well, he doesn't die, luckily.
Brasso?
Does he?
He's dead at the end.
That's
He's
right.
Dead.
I was just
they have to leave his ass behind, man.
Damn it, William.
All because William wanted to get his F on. Like Jesus.
Stupid William.
By the way, the girl who plays the girl next door, the farm girl.
Yep.
Who is she? Has she been in something? She looks so familiar, and I could not place it, and I couldn't find her in the wiki.
The only person I recently had was the lady who plays
the mom.
No, is it Lex or the head of originally the head of the heist mission? That one chick.
Oh, okay.
But she's just from Game of Thrones. She plays the Wraith. But that's only when I was rewatching season 1. I will say because she's Mon Mothma's cousin, and they give her red brunette hair this season. Where in season 1 she has blonde hair, and I'm like, I feel like they just did that just to be like, no, they're related. Like, see, they have the same color hair. Like it's very much like you guys changed their hair color just to be like, see, they're related. I'm like, you do know people with different color hair can be related. But anyways, that's the only character who I had to look up who was like, I know I've seen this chick somewhere, and like I said, she's Game of Thrones. Anyways,
gotcha.
While everything's going down with William and Brasso back at their little trailer, Bix is being assault. And I mean, that's another thing I will say. I mean, getting to the grime of the Star Wars universe and stuff. This fight, I mean, most of the time it's especially with Disney. A fight between a man and a woman. Like, we're gonna pull some punches, but like this is a pretty brutal fight. This dude is throwing Bix around and just like going full out and stuff.
I mean, this is this is an authoritarian, incel fascist.
Mm-hmm.
He has not been said no to.
He has not been said no to, and he views it as like, I'm offering you.
He's like, a woman said no to me. Like, this is the Andrew Tate.
I mean, this guy literally in multiple scenes, and even right before he tries to sexually assault her and then physically assault her, he stops and like looks in the mirror and like fixes his hair. Like this dude is.
No, I mean, this actor, he did such a good job of playing such a creepy,
a smarmy.
Nazi commander that's gonna have sex with the immigrant Jew or whatever. I mean, it's all been done before, but it was done very well in this, very well acted and written, if hard to watch, for obvious reasons,
exactly.
as it should be. But really an unnecessary but really good.
Yeah, it's like
I shouldn't say good, but well done. Performance.
Yeah.
Very good.
And he gets his just deserves though. Bix gets to take him out, and then things go sideways because they call it the guy his escort dude or whatever who was just chilling in the car, knowing full well what's going on too. Like that guy knew exactly why they were there and why only the two of them drove out there. But anyways, he calls in for backup. Things go sideways with Brasso, but then. And this is where the merging of the story happens. Cassian arrives I'm like so Cassian does get through to Kayla at one point.
Yeah,
I forgot to bring that up. And sees like, we haven't heard anything from Bix and them. The planet, like, it's radio silence over there. And then he's like, all right, he just decides he's going, which I get it. They're his friends, and then what's left of his family, all that stuff. But I'm just like, you can't show up in the stolen Imperial.
Ship. Oh no, I like. Okay, so randomly. First of all, I need like a map.
Yeah,
showing me where everything's located and how fast this TIE fighter is. Mm-hmm. Because like it doesn't have a hyperdrive as far as I can tell.
Well, it depends.
Maybe that's the upgrade.
That's what I'm about to say is TIE fighters don't, but that's the whole thing of like the TIE Interceptor and stuff. Those things did have hyperdrive. So this is more like maybe this.
I mean, where'd they put the engine? Hyperdrive engines are huge.
Yeah, that don't
usually
like
ships
Star
of this
Wars,
size need to like dock with something that has the engines.
That's
or
what
something.
Darth Vader. His TIE fighter did.
Yeah,
docked with a
or like the ones from like the new trilogy and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it can be done.
Yeah,
but you need an engine.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
it glows blue in the back. I've seen them.
If X-wings and Y-wings can have hyperdrive,
yes, but they have engines.
They have engines.
They have blue glowing engines, big giant engines that are bigger than the TIE fighter itself each.
Yeah,
in the back.
Yeah.
So anyway, I love when he's like in orbit.
Yeah.
And he sees a Star Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can see it with the dead eye, they know you're there.
They can see you.
And they're like a rogue TIE fighter.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Yeah. Also, going back to him talking to Kayla, he's on the thing, and like the reason he contacts her isn't to find out about Bix and them. It's actually because he's like, I need safety. I need somewhere to stash this thing, get me a location, get me somewhere safe and stuff. And one thing she says is like, I don't know how to fly this thing. And then in the very next scene, he's like doing a death spiral down towards the planet. And
he's kind of figured it out.
Yeah, no, he's figured it out. But I just like, oh, you don't know how to fly it? Because that's some pretty fancy fly. He flies like, I forget what it's called, like a strafing around the silos when he's attacking the stormtroopers. Like, oh no, you're looking pretty good in the TIE fighter now.
He knows the targeting system and all that stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, so Cassian shows up and saves or helps Brasso escape. William shows up and helps distract the guy so Bix can save herself.
I also like the subtlety. There was a lot of all the acting was great. All the visuals were beautiful.
Yeah.
My only problems with any of these episodes is the unnecessity of a lot of the stuff that happened.
For 3 episodes, and especially and part of it is like this is just rumors we had heard was how each 3 episodes was kind of going to be like a core thing of itself, telling its own story, and didn't get that. And then also, like you said, it's 3 episodes. I think the last episode was 50 minutes long.
Yeah.
And the other 2 were like 47 and 46.
Yeah, 45 to 55 minutes.
Yeah. But I really feel like this could have probably been, if we cut out all the bloat,
one episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're giving us 3 episodes, but at the end of the day, it's like, this could have
made,
probably,
maybe that would have
been
felt too
one.
action packed or something.
Maybe.
But, I mean, I felt like if you, they
Still,
should
this could have been 2 episodes. Was this? Like,
I wouldn't have wanted them to like remove stuff and compress.
Yeah.
I wanted them to remove stuff and put other things in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's what I needed. I needed
something of substance.
more of the spycraft intrigue between
Mhm.
Tay and Luthen and Mon.
Yep.
Instead of like wasting so much of that time on the wedding
On the
stuff. I
wedding, yep.
definitely just take out the whole. I mean, you could do other things with Cassian trying to like learn how to fly the ship.
Yeah.
Maybe he lands on the planet and he's got to take a hike through the dangerous woods to get something to fix the ship because he crashed it. Lots of things you could have done other than what they did and still be awesome.
Mhm.
Instead of compressing it into an hour, which I felt would have been too action and fast paced for what Andor should feel like. You know, Andor should feel slow and meandering like it is.
Yeah,
in
there's
this
action
with some
set
action
pieces,
every now
but
and
they're
then.
not the focal point.
Exactly.
Like I was just sorry. I was gonna say I just remember back to the first season with the heist and how you spend like 3 episodes of them just getting ready for the heist and going over all the nuance. And then when the heist pops off, there's a huge action spectacle and stuff, really well done. But then that was it. Like we had 3 episodes to build us up to that. Here it is, and then we're like after the heist, we get back into the Mondrade until the next set piece, and so like that's what I kind of like because like I said,
or like 3 episodes of them just like being in jail in prison,
and him seeing Cassian like develop, but that's what I liked about the jail sequence is him developing the connections and stuff when it's to get out and all that. Like it's just it's
I like Brasso when he gets captured and he pretends that he hates the guy who was helping them and like pretends that he turned him in. So that way he wouldn't get in trouble. Like that was very awesome. But yeah, basically Brasso dies. He meets up with Bix. Which are they an item? Or are they just friends?
No. Like so one thing that from watching season 1,
because she calls him his husband.
They had dated in season 1, but they weren't together in season 1 because the reason why Cassian even gets caught originally or has to flee originally is because her current boyfriend is the one who outs Cassian.
Gotcha.
And then throughout the rest of season 1 is they don't have that much time together because he's off on different planets. But throughout the rest of season 1, they are just it ends with them just being like, as far as I know, French. I don't know. Like I said, it's been a year.
I hope that they haven't made them an item. I think they have, but I
think they have. But also, like I said, at the end of season 1, they're still just like I said at the beginning, like just friends and they're close. And then, but like I said, it's been a year. And once again, they haven't been until the end of this 3rd episode. They haven't really been together, so we don't get to see exactly where the relationship is. But well, I guess we'll see that in the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, good times. But that's where it ends. I'm looking forward to the next 3. Hopefully, we'll get more of what I want and less of what I don't. But I'm not super hopeful. But it's not terrible. It's not
terrible. It's not unwatchable. It is a little bit of a letdown just because it's like I said, Andor was a surprise hit when it came out. Like everybody, before watching it, I was just like, I don't know how this is gonna go. We've been watching some Star Wars stuff and all that stuff, and then it was just a surprise hit. And it was one of the things that made it what it was is how different from the rest of the Star Wars universe it is. And I would hope they would see that and be like, oh,
if
let's
I see
continue
a single lightsaber in any of these episodes, it's over. It's over.
No, well, what is it in the first season? Mon Mothma's husband dresses like a Jedi a lot, like he wears robes that look like Jedi. And I'm like, if this fool turns out to be some sort of Jedi in hiding or something, I know he's not, but I'm just like, it sounds, if you would have told kid me this, especially because I love lightsaber battles and stuff as a kid, but it sounds weird, but it's like the more Star Wars universe I get without the Jedi, the better it feels. Like, I'm not insulting Jedi as a whole. I do still like them, but it's like, no, this is a whole universe. And the fact that every story we've watched up until recently has been about this small faction of people.
It
takes
not even
away
just like the
from
Jedi.
But
like
the
Skywalkers.
Essentially. But so that's my thing. And so like, I am definitely one who subscribes to, I would like more Star Wars without Jedi. And so, we know the end point, and Rogue One doesn't have any Jedis and stuff. So it's like, let's finish telling Cassian's story without seeing one Jedi. If we can get season 1, season 2 to Rogue One with no Jedi, I'll take it.
Awesome. Hey, if you like the show, you should check out our website, watchinitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and to email us, watchinitpodcast@gmail.com. I haven't put any blog posts up because I haven't finished anything recently.
Yeah.
I should probably get something up there, but you can go read the blog posts we do have. I just haven't put anything new up there. Have you put anything new up?
I have a new one. Little spoiler. I've got a blog
I don't
post.
look at the website.
I got a
users
blog
should
post
do.
coming out talking about public domain horror.
Oh,
Because there's for the listeners and Robert, this year, Robert, there are 3 Popeye the Sailor Man horror movies coming out.
Oh, because
Because
Popeye
he
the
entered the
Sailor
public
Man?
domain.
Oh. Man, things are
Also,
getting
Peter
exciting.
Pan entered the public domain.
Ooh.
His movie already came out. So 2 of the Popeye the Sailor Man horror movies have come out, and the Peter Pan one. There's another one coming out, I think, this fall. And then, of course, like, I don't know if you know, but yeah, Winnie the Pooh, Mickey the Mouse has also, but only the
Mickey Mouse came out a year or two
Steamboat,
ago.
only the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse. So you can't do current Mickey Mouse, but as long as you make sure it's Steamboat Willie. But yeah, so I have not watched all of them. I've only watched like 2 actually of the public domain movies, but still I've read up on them and like seen different things, and I have some takes on it and what I think about it.
Very exciting times that things are starting to roll off into the public domain again.
Yeah.
After so long.
Yep.
And big name stuff too.
Yep.
Like, yeah, very exciting to see what people are going to do.
One of the things I still love is that we discovered is the Sherlock Holmes public domain.
I don't
thing.
want that thing to change.
Yeah.
I need the surly asshole
Like,
Sherlock
you
Holmes. I don't want whatever the
Yeah.
Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah.
Ooh, I nailed that.
But I just love, like, when we looked that up, like, we were like, yeah, it's just so weird that they make him so smarmy and asshole all the time. And then we looked it up, it's like, oh, it's because literally they trademarked nice Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
You can't have, if you want to write a Sherlock Holmes story, you have to make him an asshole. I'm like, that is amazing. They're just
That's funny.
They're just like, yeah. It's like, all right, well, fine. Sherlock Holmes is a jerk. He's a drunkard half the time. He's an asshole. He's smarmy and stuff. And I was like, yeah, you can't do nice Sherlock Holmes if you want to use public use of him.
All right, we got about 10 minutes.
Yep.
That didn't take as long as we thought we would need for Andor. So we hadn't originally prepped to talk about what we were watching. But I did finish. I do want to talk about a couple of things.
All right.
Real quick. I did finish the Blacklist. Forced myself to do it.
Okay.
I was
like,
Robert,
wondering.
Robert, you're
I was like,
3/4 of the
Robert,
way
you're
through
the
the
man
last
who-
season. Just finish it. Just
Yes.
do it. Fast forwarded through most of it. I was so ready to be done. I am really glad that I took a 5th chance on it.
Okay.
Because it was like 4 times I tried watching the first episode and being, no,
Yep.
this isn't for me.
So even though it was rough in the end, you're still glad you watched.
Yes.
It. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For
All right.
me, the show, I think, ends not good. I mean, look, it wraps everything up at the end for the 10th season.
Yep.
I think they should have ended it at the end of season 8.
Okay.
It would not have been a good ending.
Okay.
They did answer basically all the questions, maybe elusively. Well, absolutely elusively. But they answered the big question, which is who is Raymond Reddington, who's the main character played by James Spader. This is the role that James Spader was always meant to play.
Okay.
I think he wrote it, and he was an executive producer. I mean, it is James Spader, just being James Spader.
Yep.
And he is fantastic on it. It's 22 episodes, 10 seasons, 1 hour long. Yeah. It's a lot.
That's
and there's really no filler. There's really no filler. It is kind of a monster of the week thing.
Yeah.
So essentially he is what the America's Most Wanted.
Yep.
FBI list, number 1, top of the slot.
Yep.
And he is what's called the concierge of crime. He helps other criminals do crime with his vast network of contacts and money and smuggling operations. All this stuff, right? He knows all the people. He can get you the tech guy for your bank robbery, whatnot. He comes in, and there's this FBI agent who's just joined the FBI, and he's like, I will only talk to this person. And then he goes, okay, in 24 hours, this terror attack's going to happen. I'm going to help you do it. And then he's like, but if you want me to help you, you got to give me an immunity agreement.
Okay.
And the trade for this immunity agreement is I'm going to help you take down some of the craziest villains the planet has ever seen. And it gets kind of wacky.
Yeah.
Clairvoyant little girls,
Okay.
Suicidal AIs. Not quite aliens, but sort of aliens. It's
I did not expect
kind
that.
of like the X-Files.
Because I never watched it, but all the trailers made it seem very much like a straight up crime thing, like normal crime.
It is, but it gets into
But
like
I was
some
not
weird.
expecting-
Some of the criminals get super weird.
Yeah.
And there's
Okay.
nothing that's like supernatural or not explained scientifically in some way. They definitely stretch it pretty far,
Yeah.
but it's not like actual aliens or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very X-Files-y.
Nice.
And
Okay.
while I revere the X-Files in a lot of ways, there's
Yeah.
a lot of filler in the X-Files.
There is a lot of filler in the X-Files.
Every episode of this definitely like plays into the main story of
Mhm.
what's going on, and there's really not an episode you can skip without missing something interesting.
Even in the 9 and 10 season?
Well, 9 and 10 is probably where it goes off the
Okay,
rails.
that's
But
what I
there's
was
still
wondering.
stuff going on. Like if you want to get the full story, you got to watch every episode of 9 and 10 as well
Okay.
to like understand what's happening then. Yeah, just a lot of problems with like the cast. Like people left the show for various reasons and put like main characters and stuff because of like stuff going on in the background of like contract negotiations and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And it really kind of, messed things up a lot of the way, but they, they do the best they can with it. And of course there's a really weird COVID episode where they like do like
Yeah.
a mixture of live action and cartoon. It's not good, well done, but they did the best they could with, given the situation they were in. Yeah, I think it's worth a watch. If
Okay.
you're into that kind of X-Files-y type, like Monster of the Week, show, yeah, you're going to wrap in that blanket and enjoy it. But I think once you get past season 8, you're going to be like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over.
Yeah.
Like it's, I've experienced what I need to experience. Let's just get to it.
Yep.
I went back and finally finished an anime that I had started and not finished, called Dungeon People. This is a very kind of cutesy anime.
Yep.
12 episodes, very short and quick. Not super great, but it does an interesting thing where basically a rogue, a thief kind of character is exploring a dungeon
Mm-hmm.
and is in a fight with a minotaur, and a minotaur throws his axe at her and smashes the wall behind her, and he's like, time out. Like, we got to fix this wall before the boss finds out.
Okay.
And like behind the wall is a bedroom.
Yeah.
Just a regular bedroom in this, dank, dark dungeon. And it turns out that like he just works there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she ends up meeting the big boss person and is like, hey, you want a job? And she starts working for the dungeon. Like, filling all the chests.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Changing the layout, training the
Yeah, some
monsters.
Interesting cross.
It's a very
stuff.
interesting look. I'm very fascinated by the concept of the dungeon in isekai and other fantasy, like stereotypical anime stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like, this is weird because they're living things sometimes, and
Mhm.
it's really interesting, and it's like I said, not great. It's very kind of cutesy, childish in a lot of ways, but it is a very interesting exploration. Finally, I'll talk about I watched the most recent season of Black Mirror.
Okay.
Best season they've had in a while.
Yes.
Better than the
I
last
haven't
like
finished
3
all
seasons,
of it,
I would say.
but
The last episode's real good, Donnell.
I'm not.
You remember the
I got, like,
previous
two-
season where she got trapped in the spaceship?
Yeah.
It's-
No, I saw. That's
yeah.
the first episode, isn't it?
So, okay, this is a good question because I think they're maybe rearranged on Netflix, the order, because they
yeah.
did that with another show. I don't think it wasn't Black Mirror.
Because that's what I started with.
I think it was like Love, Death, and Robots or something where
Yeah.
like everybody's order was randomized.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Twilight Zone-y.
Yeah.
So, or Outer Limits or whatever, you're into.
Yep.
So every episode's going to be hit or miss.
Yeah.
I thought this hit a lot more than it missed.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the one where the lady has to like pay the monthly service fee to.
Haven't watched that one.
Okay, it's the one with what's her name? The pregnant. It's funny because she's always trying to get pregnant in shows. The actress that's at the beginning of the first season of Silo that's trying to get pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of her name.
I
hate to say it, but
Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones.
There it is. I was just like, I know this.
Yeah,
I know this.
she plays a lady. She gets into a car wreck or something, and no, she just for no reason just collapses, has a brain thing, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna download your brain, then fix your brain, like download all your memories and your personality and stuff into a computer, then fix your brain with the tumor or whatever.
Yeah.
And then re-upload you, but we can't like put it all back in permanently. We got to keep you on the server, and then you can use the internet. And they start doing a monthly service fee, and it gets weird.
Okay.
It just seemed a little basic for me. It wasn't my favorite episode. But yeah, a lot of really good stuff, or a lot of really interesting things that they explore, and well done. There's one with Paul Giamatti. I didn't like it too much, but it was really interesting the way they did it. But yeah, very, very good season.
Nice. I'm looking forward
especially
to
the spaceship one.
Yeah, the spaceship one was great. Space one was great, and it stars our girl. What's her face? Now I can't remember.
Kristen Milotti.
Yeah, Kristen Milotti. Always enjoy. And also, I'll say the same thing. Also, Jesse Plemons. Always enjoy to see him too.
Yeah,
like,
man, he did so good in that episode.
Yeah.
Especially when they show like the alternate version of him, and it's like, oh, he just might be a good guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, he's not a good guy.
Yeah,
he can turn heel so subtly and so
Yeah.
fast. He's such a good. He's got range, man.
He does.
He's got range, and he can do that range in the same character. He can do the good and the bad in the same character.
Yeah,
just flipping, flopping between them.
Yeah,
and like you just really feel it. And he did, so good, so well done. Anyway, where if you've fallen off of Black Mirror, this is a season to come back to.
Yes,
because like I said, the last couple 2 or 3 seasons not great.
I also say with Black Mirror, always a surprise when a new season shows up, because I'm always like, every season I'm like, that was probably the last season, and I'm like, that's probably it, and then it'll be like new Black Mirror out of like 2 years later, just out of nowhere, like here it is. You're like, what?
This is still going?
Yeah.
Didn't Jabberwocky or whatever break this? Like, oh, I really like the one. Did you watch the one where it was like the civilization in the computer?
Yeah,
that was a good episode. I really like that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, fantastic. Anyway, you got anything you want to drop?
So weirdly, I was going to talk about.
I would have more, but I've watched 100 hours of Blueprints playthroughs on Steam.
So I was already from last week. I was gonna talk. We didn't have time to talk about some video games I've been playing. So I'll talk about it now. But very interesting. One of the video games I'm playing ties so much into your anime because it's called Goblin Cleanup.
Okay.
And in the game, you play a goblin. Who is working for a lord of a dungeon, and your job is to go into the dungeon and reset everything after the hero. Like, you got to refill up the treasure chest, you got to clean up all the body parts.
That sounds like Viscera cleanup detail.
It pretty much is. It's just a demo. You can play 3 levels, but they get expansive. Like the 3rd level is insane, and all this stuff. And you're figuring out, but yeah, basically like you're going around resetting. You got to reset up all the traps and light the torch. You know how like there's a joke of like when you go into a abandoned.
Oh, he's got a mop and everything.
Yeah,
I love it.
You go into a abandoned. You use mimic chests as a garbage can. Like that's where you put it. But they can, if you're not careful, they'll eat you too. So like you got to be careful. All the traps can kill you. Like you die a lot in the process of cleaning up.
Is this multiplayer?
It is.
Oh, we got to get in on this.
I would like to play it with some.
We got to get the team together.
Yeah.
If this is 4-player.
It is. It's one of the games I've thought about. But yeah, you're resetting. Like there's that joke all the time that people always make about when you're playing video games of that temple that hasn't been opened in 20 years. Who lit all the candles? This game answers it. It's some dude working minimum wage. You're saying like, oh, gotta go stuff. But it's just fun. It's a great one for either watching stuff or if you just want to zone out.
Yeah,
because
that was what was great about Viscera Cleanup Detail. It's just like Viscera Cleanup Detail, for those that don't know, is a video game where you're the janitor that goes into like the medical research facility where they just unleashed the alien monster accidentally and it killed everybody, and there's body parts and blood and guts everywhere, and you got to go in and clean it all up. Get rid of the torsos and the legs and the arms.
You do the same thing with this. And the thing is, though, so you got to get rid of all the torsos and blood. But the thing is, because you can die, like, every time you die, you leave a mess. So then you got to go clean up your old corpse. And, like, sometimes you'll be almost done cleaning, and then you'll die. And there'll be, like, there was this one time I didn't realize.
What kills you?
Well, so one of the mimic trap chest, if you walk into it. But also, like, all the trap. Like, you have to reset the trap. Like, there's just one trap that you always, it's the last thing you set or else you'll get die multiple. Is there's this trap it's a eyeball that shoots lasers as you walk through a room, and like if you set that thing up, it targets you, and then you have to go through that
you
room
gotta,
and
like,
stuff.
set it in bolts.
Yeah, so that's always the last. Like whenever I see that trap, like we're gonna fix that last. But there's freaking what is it? What are they called? Ballistas that shoot.
Okay.
There's wall like that, and this
Gotcha.
one that got me a bunch is there was a pressure. I didn't realize there was a pressure plate trap that dropped a wall on you, and I didn't realize, and I kept dying, and like I just couldn't figure it out. And, like I got it, but then like all my viscera and stuff was underneath this trap, and so I was like, well, I gotta clean it up. But every time I'd go there, I just make more. I'm like, what is? And then I eventually figured it out. But yeah, it's just a fun game.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Ludicrous. And then so the other game I've been playing is an interesting one. Also, it's called Do No Harm, and in it you play a doctor, but you are not a doctor in today's day and age. You're like
you do harm.
You're a doctor in like 1740 or something, like, or probably like the 1800s. And it is a Lovecraftian game.
Okay.
So in this game, you're doing normal doctor work. You're curing patients you're using the phlegms as the 4 phlegms. How there's like I forget what it is. It's like bile.
Okay.
The stuff like you're using that junk science stuff. But so you're curing patients in a
this kind of looks like Papers, Please.
Yeah, a little bit. But the thing is, you also have to be on the lookout for mental attacks. So like while you're trying to cure people, you're like it's because it's funny. Like you get this little totem dude, and he gets so pissed off because you get this totem dude who warns you when there's going like strange things are going to happen, and he gets so pissed off with you when you miss him. But like you're there and you're like trying to cure a patient, but like sometimes there'll be like a eldritch being looking in the window, or there's whispers coming through the room, and whenever that happens, you have to drink stuff to calm your mind. But like so many times I'll be like working on a patient and I'll get him taken care of, and then my totem's like, oh, you didn't see that dude in the back corner whispering to you? Like, damn it. I'm just like, but like it's just a fun little game where it's like you're
focused on the vials.
Yeah,
Man.
exactly. You're trying to cure people, and and you're always killing people too, not on purpose. It's you're just kind of seeing what works half the time, and testing things out. And while you're doing that, you also have to be aware that the Cthulhu and his brothers are out there trying to screw with you, like constantly. Yeah, constantly. Like there's like sometimes it'll be blatant, like the person will come in and they'll be like an eldritch monster, and you're like, okay, well that's obvious. Or sometimes they'll be invisible, and you're just like, well.
What's going on?
Yeah, but there's a lot of really subtle stuff. Like once, like you're in medieval times, and like you're just in it, even though you're not. It's medieval times, so like it's just a dingy little building
that
you're
doesn't
in.
seem like
not medieval,
it
but
looked
like,
more like Elizabethan.
Yeah. But you're just in a dingy little building and stuff, and so like you have cockroaches in there. It's just kind of thing. But this one time, like I was like working on a patient, and I looked down at his card, and there was like millions of cockroaches going across my desk. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna drink some of that stuff. It's like I feel like this isn't right and stuff. So like, yeah, it's just fun. And yeah, it's just good little game. I'm
awesome.
Enjoying what I was saying. Playing menial tasks with a fantasy spin is fun.
Nice. Well, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen, and boys, kids, and girls, and stuff of all ages.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know
Everybody.
what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
No one knows what
Anyway,
you're
check
doing.
out our website, watchinitpodcast.com. Watchinitpod.com.
Watchinitpod.com.
Website is watchinitpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Donnell, what else should they do?
We are in the thick of Andor. There is a lot. We got the Thunderbolts coming out.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm looking
next
forward
weekend.
to. So, I mean, definitely you should be paying attention to both of those. Please.
Well, when this comes out, it's coming out this weekend.
Yes. When this episode comes out, Thunderbolts. But yeah, so definitely be watching Andor. Check out Thunderbolts if you don't want us to spoil it, because we're going to talk about it. But also, I will say this, because there was this little thing, and I guess maybe this is me saying something I don't know, but I'm just going by the trailers and what I've seen. There was a thing talking about how the Thunderbolts right now doesn't have that much hype behind it, and maybe it's just people are waiting,
which is crazy.
You can wait till we see it, but I would really recommend. Like, it looks like it's going to be good. It starts with a good cast and characters that we've seen in the game. I'm not the games, in the movies. And so yeah, please go out and check it out, because I think of everything that's coming out of Marvel upcoming, this is the thing I'm most psyched about right now, because Fantastic Four.
I mean, it's the first movie I'm going to go see at the theater since, I don't know, what did we watch last?
I don't know. What did we go see last?
I don't remember.
It has been a minute.
Did we go see? Oh, you know what? Can we wait for a second here? Did we go see any of the movies for the Academy Awards at the theater? Or we just skipped the one that we couldn't watch, which I still haven't watched.
Yeah, we were planning.
I feel so justified. I feel so justified. The news that came out this past week that the Oscars, the Academy Awards, just added a new rule.
Okay.
In order to vote in a category, you must show proof that you watched every movie.
Nice.
Which apparently was not a rule.
Yeah, that is.
And apparently
insane.
a lot of the movies, there were a lot of people that were like, no, I didn't watch them all because some of them were too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, that's unacceptable.
That's insane. Yeah. Hey, we're two guys on a couch. We watch them all.
That's right. Well, all but one, but that was their fault.
It wasn't our fault. We tried to. We were willing to go to the theater.
Yeah.
They just didn't have it in any theaters.
Yeah.
Except like I think they're like over in Silverdale. I ain't dropping to Silverdale.
But that's crazy. So that'll be interesting next
to see how
Academy
things
Awards
play
where they
out.
actually have to prove. I think they have to show their movie ticket stub for
Nice.
all of the nominees in order to be allowed
I
to
like
vote.
that. The fact that wasn't already a rule.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's
baffling.
completely. I mean, what are we on? The 96
Yeah.
or something Academy Award? All the ones previous to this don't matter.
Invalidate it.
Yeah,
Invalidate it.
because people were allowed to vote without seeing the whole.
Without seeing all
thing.
Anyways, check out the stuff we're watching. That's what you can do. Check out the stuff we're watching, and if you want to tell us anything you think about the stuff we're watching, let us know. Or if you've got any interesting games, because there's a lot of good games out there. I'm playing them. Robert's playing them. We're always looking for something new. We've got some good games. Drop that in an email and give us any ratings, reviews, 5 stars. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.